It's a question which divides a room. Which is the best Christmas movie?
Is It a Wonderful Life, Home Alone, Love Actually?
Oh, it's really difficult, isn't it? Well, there's a new contender in town. Last Christmas is the must-see film of the year, and it's sure to get you in the festive spirit.
Emilia Clarke and Henry Golding join us now. So let's pick our way through this story. So it's the story of Kate, and Kate is a struggling actress, and she's a bit of a mess, as she said, as you said there.
Yes, self-confessed mess. Yes,
Why?
she is. She's a little bit lost. She's at that point in your life which I feel like many of us can relate to, between when you've left uni or school or whatever it is and you're going into being a grown-up, and that is incredibly difficult and a challenging time for anyone, but especially for Kate, because she's had an illness, a kind of a life-threatening illness that you find out later on in the movie, and it really... It kind of narrates the rest of her life, how she feels about herself and about her family, about everything. She chooses to run very far in the other direction to the nearest pub.
Right.
And get on Tinder a lot.
Right.
And so just generally not taking care of herself or others, and has kind of alienated herself in that. And then she meets this fine young gentleman.
So you play
Mysterious.
Tom, mysterious Tom. So explain a little bit about who he is and why he comes into her life.
I think Tom is, in some respects, a polar opposite of Kate.
In every respect, I'd probably argue.
I would definitely imagine so. He kind of lives in the present, and he's sort of put away technology and kind of really reminds Kate that essentially everything she needs and wants, or to fix her so-called sort of position in life, is inside of her, and he kind of helps try to sort of bring
Sort of
that
holds
out
up a mirror to her life a little bit, doesn't he?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Well, he's the
Exactly.
guy. He's the guy that everybody wants to be with. He's the guy you want to.
Yeah, he's a charming little chap, isn't he? And
Kate doesn't think so at first, though.
No, it can be sort of misrepresented in a way that he springs into her life and he sort of dances all around the place, but he sort of has this levity. And I think at first it's quite pompous, but you get to know kind of Tom and you realise that's his charm. He just doesn't care, and he kind of he wants other people to be happy, and that's
You
lovable.
mentioned that Kate has this life-threatening illness, and we don't want to. Obviously, we're not going to spoil anything, and there's a cracking twist. But you had a life-threatening illness at roughly the same age as Kate.
Yeah, roughly the same age, yeah. So I've had 2 brain hemorrhages, and the first one I was 22, and then the next one was kind of 2 years later. But it was a huge amount that I could relate to with what Kate was going through. I worked very hard and sort of got through it that way. Kate doesn't. Slightly different reactions to it. But essentially there was a huge amount that when... It wasn't the reason why I took this job, it wasn't the reason why the script spoke to me so much, but in kind of delving into Kate as a character, it just became this kind of serendipitous thing that allowed me to explore it within myself and within her.
And also, you get to sing.
Yeah.
You get to, I mean,
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well,
I paid him really well.
but you've said that actually singing is where you feel happiest.
Yeah, it's a really... I just love it. I've sung always, and when I was at school, I sung with a big band and a jazz band and did all that kind of stuff. So I've always loved it. But because I've never done it professionally, it's always been something that was just for me and, you know, my neighbours in the shower and sort of, not for them in the shower.
I was going to say,
That's very close.
you've got a big shower.
You're a good neighbour.
How many neighbours can you get in there?
Singing so loudly in the shower, I know they can hear me. Oh, Christ. Sorry, neighbours.
But you sing a bit too, don't you?
Very minuscule.
A little bit.
That was really
Is it
minuscule bit.
Is it different singing in front of your neighbours in the shower when you're actually singing in public for the first time? I mean, because you feel that in your throat.
Well, no, completely. So that was it. I was like, oh, yeah, you know, the second AD on the set was like, do you do singing lessons? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I mean, that would just be lovely. I'm really confident doing this. Brilliant. And then we get up to the day and I'm like, I can't speak.
Yeah.
I actually can't speak. The fear of doing it in front of all these people.
You had full rooms of, like, extras and people.
Yeah,
so
that's
literally,
it.
like, 50
Because you start up close, so it's
people.
just you and it's a close-up shot and there's just the crew, which obviously there's, as you well know, there's a lot of people in the crew. And then suddenly they bring in everybody else and there's like 500 people in the room.
God.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. Tell me about because there's a scene where you two sort of meet each other and there's a incident with the bird poo.
Oh, the bird poo.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was an interesting day because
Yeah.
we're filming a majority of the film in Covent Garden.
Right.
And so that was one of the first setups, actually.
It was, but the hours that we were shooting.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, dollop.
Yeah.
Right in
Right in
the
the
eye.
eyeball.
That was what, take 15? Yeah, excellent. Let's
Over and over and over again.
And that's what it felt like.
And what is that that's being dolloped on your face?
It was yoghurt.
Oh, okay.
With
Okay.
little bits of other things in it.
Oh, lovely.
And some dye.
Some oatmeal.
And some, yeah. But it was essentially,
Oh,
you
gosh.
had to look up at a pipette that was on this kind of little machine that they had created, and it needed like a little pump to like get it all. So then you're there being like, okay, just don't look away. Don't look away. I know it's coming.
But it took like 2 hours for it to set it up.
And then every time on the call sheet, you'd be there on like a random Tuesday and go, oh, bird poo's back. Is that, did we not get it the last 6 times? They're like, we just want to double check. I'm like, okay.
Well, you
They were
actually
enjoying
It
too
ended up.
much.
yesterday afternoon posted on Instagram that a bird had actually pooed
I
on you
know.
with the caption, when life imitates art.
Yes, look at it, right on the shoulder there. Not in the eye.
Not in the
sadly,
eye.
Not in the eye.
I missed. That was
It
me.
got
I
you
was in a
take
tree.
one as well.
It got me spot on. But, I mean, you got to dodge those
did the
pigeons
same
here in
stuff.
London, haven't you?
I can't, obviously can't let you go without mentioning my favourite show of all time.
Are you about to bend the knee? Is that what's about to happen?
Without question. And does it feel weird? I mean, you were there right the way through.
Yeah, it feels really strange. It continues to feel strange. I was hanging out with some friends from the cast the other day, and we were all there going, "Still weird?" And you're like, "Yeah, yeah, it's been a while, but it's still weird." It's
And
still
was
really
it weird
strange.
that I loved the ending? I thought, she went crackers,
She did.
and I loved that.
Yes.
But there's like 1.7 million people have signed a
Yes.
petition for a rewrite.
I know. No, I know. I mean, this is the thing. On every level, it's just profoundly flattering that people genuinely cared that much and they were with us for that long and that they really, really, truly believed in it. And a lot of, I mean, I don't read anything online really because it sort of doesn't help my brain. But largely speaking, I feel like people are being very kind about Daenerys and about Mother Dragons and kind of backing me up. So that's lovely. It's really lovely to hear. But I don't think that there is an ending that anyone could have written. That no matter how many signatures you want on
Can't
any bit of
please
paper,
everyone.
you just can't. And that is really just so flattering. So.
You're a gangster, aren't you, in the Guy Ritchie film?
Yes, coming out in January. Essentially
the
the
gentleman?
exact opposite of Tom in this film.
And how was that to be a bad guy?
Phenomenal. I mean, I grew up with The Snatch and The Lock Stocks, and to be in a Guy Ritchie sort of, essentially an ensemble much like those films was amazing. And so sort of filming at the same time as this. So one day I'd be Tom, this sort of gallivanting around London, and then sort of slick my hair back and come in and have to face off with Matthew McConaughey.
Brilliant,
So
though,
it was
to have
amazing.
that diversity.
Michelle
So
Dockery as
great.
well, I think.
She is like you've never seen her before in this film. So.
And
Thank you.
tomorrow, what are you
Yes.
doing? What's your dream come true?
Turning on the Covent Garden Christmas lights. So juiced. Yeah.
Thank you
Enjoyed
both.
that.
Last Christmas
Thank you.
out
Thank you,
this
thank
Friday.
you.
We didn't even mention that it was the music of George Michael that throughout this
know.
film had his seal of
That's just like a
approval.
huge bonus to the
And
whole
so,
Yeah.
it's George's,
and you get to
George's
hear
film.
a track that he released that was released posthumously with George, and that comes on at the credits. So
Yeah.
just enjoy that.
Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks.